let's speak about gut. What is the leaky gut actually?
You have a barrier in your gut lining, right? And this is where all the bacteria is at, right? The good bacteria that digests food and is responsible for your immune system and all that. So when you have inflammation all the time, this biofilm, it becomes thinner and thinner and thinner. In addition to that, your gut has something called tight junctions. Tight junctions, they can close and open, right? So when you're in an inflamed state, they stay open for too long. And endotoxins, basically your stool and byproducts from your digestion, like proteins and toxins, can enter your bloodstream.
So for instance, if I assume I have a leaky gut, what can be the first symptom? What are the things to look at actually?
It's the list of basically like almost all diseases together mixed in one big long list, right? It can cause from thyroid issues to hormonal issues, because once you have this low-grade inflammation, systemic inflammation, it disrupts all sorts of biological processes in your body.
This podcast is brought to you by Protocol CRM and Shredify Coaching. Protocol CRM, the AI-powered platform that helps coaches manage clients, leads, and follow-ups in one place. What that means for you if you are a coach? It means no more chaos. You can find the link down below in description. And now to introduce another sponsor of this podcast, Shredify Coaching. Shredify Coaching is a structured training platform with nutrition and accountability for men who want real results, not motivation. If you get the value from today's episode, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's go.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new podcast. Today's guest is IT entrepreneur. He's coming from Germany, from Frankfurt. In today's podcast, we will be speaking about hidden health issues, gut, hormones, discipline in men, and dopamine. Alex, welcome to a podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here, man.
Thanks for having me here. I'm Alex. I'm an IT entrepreneur from Germany, Frankfurt to be precise. As a child, I was very interested in technology. So at 10 years old, I got my first computer when I was 7. And when I was 10, I was already able to code and stuff like that. So that was my passion. And after studying informatics, I ended up at the Brain Research Institute called Max Planck. It's basically government-funded research in Germany, so the biggest institutes. And I was one of the youngest CIOs, Chief Information Officers, 24 years old. And I was working alongside researchers, doctors, professors in like top tier brain research, and helping them find solutions, technical solutions, to bring their research further. So
hidden health issues, gut, hormones, discipline in modern men. So we'll start with your health right now, because for me it was interesting that I met you and I was like, you presented yourself as you did right now, and then we started speaking about fitness, about lifestyle, hormonal panels, and then you started firing. And you said to me one thing: I was having an issue with my pituitary gland 10 years ago, and I did research and I helped myself. So basically, can you just explain to people, many people I do believe that every third or fourth man has problem with prolactin, and they don't know what to do, and sometimes it can be, I would say, really fatal if you don't discover. And can you just tell us about that?
100%. So prolactin in general, it's a stress hormone. In women, it has a whole different function, right? So it's for lactating women during after pregnancy, right? But in men, it's not being deeply researched what the actual reason is why we have prolactin, but we have it, and it's needed. So you cannot just suppress it, because then your libido goes downhill. So you need it, but we have way smaller amounts than women do. And but it's something that is very volatile. Like it goes up with stress. Even when you're nervous right before the blood draw, it can go up, right? So this is the reason before you go for a blood draw, like to give labs blood work for prolactin, you have to sit still at least 5 to 10 minutes and be calm. Otherwise, your prolactin, might
spike.
be, it's like a false positive, right?
Yeah.
Then the other thing is you have to stop having like no orgasm like 3-4 days prior. It's
Okay.
better.
Okay.
100%. No sexual intercourse, no masturbation.
Wow.
You have to be like 3 to 4 days to stop prior. Be relaxed during blood draw, and this is where you can get like and even then I would still try to get 2 to 3 measurements just to be sure that it's what's the actual value is, yeah, because like blood work is always just you capture a moment in time.
Yeah.
One blood work.
It's like screenshot.
Exactly.
Of the moment.
Yeah. So
But what is interesting for me, I would like to start with storytelling moment. Obviously, you are the guy from Germany with the Greek roots, right, etc., etc. But what was you were telling me, what was your issue actually? You said they diagnosed, actually the doctors, they said it might be stress. You need to change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you didn't know what is the root, what is the cause. So tell us your story.
yeah, so it's complicated when you have these type of symptoms, right? And they appear. It was like during my time as a CIO at this Brain Research Institute, where it was not easy to distinguish if it was like a burnout. Was it a burnout? Did I overreach working like 60, 70 hours per week? Or and was it also the mental stress of having all this big budgets and so many staff to look after? Or was it like an actual issue going on? So it's also difficult when you're 24 years old to go to a doctor and say, hey, I think I have an issue with my sexual hormones, because they look at you like, hey, you're 24, you look kind of fit, so why should testosterone be an issue, right? And especially when the readings fall under the range, why should one diagnose such things? So the first impression for the doctor was, hey, okay, you're young, you overdid it working, you have a very high position with lots of stress involved, so you maybe need to step back from work and relax, right? So that was the first initial thing that happened during that time. So even me, I was not sure if it's a burnout, yeah, with the symptoms that appeared at that time, or if it was actually an issue with my sexual hormones, right? So that made things more complicated.
Okay, this is the step one, like unexplained symptoms.
Exactly.
Then they were saying you're young. That obviously they misdiagnosed as a stress, and then you went and say, okay, I'm going to study.
Yeah, it was like exactly. It was like, okay, let's take it, because this is the approach as a guy with an informatics background, right? When you troubleshoot IT systems, it's basically it's almost the same pattern a scientist or a doctor works, right? So you have this issue, okay, you see there is a system, okay, what could be wrong? Okay. So now let's fix this issue, right? Okay, let's sleep more. Yeah. Okay, take a step back, change my job. Like really, I initially I submit the letter of like I quit the job, and I had months, like 6 months to a year of free time to work out, sleep properly, eat properly, but the issue still persists, right? So like all the symptoms were still there. So that was the point where I started realizing, okay, something is clearly off here, right? So then after a phase of good sleep, recovery, sports, good nutrition, why should a 24, 25-year-old still have hair loss in libido, no ability to gain muscle? And I'm not talking about this huge expectations of, this expectation of being like a super fit model, but I'm talking about this ability to have this decent physique for someone who's working out 5 times per week, right? The ability to recover. And this is when I started realizing, okay, my arms don't have any hair, right? My younger brother has more hair than I do. So at this point, I was like quite sure there is something going on.
And you did the scan of your...
No. The scan is like, that happened 2 years ago.
Ah.
That's the fun part, right? Imagine, I'm 38 now. So it's like 2 to 3 years. I'm talking about a 10-year plus suffering road. It was a long
journey.
A long journey, exactly. Journey was the word I was looking for. So after this, I was convinced that I have something, but of course, to be honest, I didn't want to. It was difficult because you end up like a hypochondriac, right? You start, after a while it becomes psychological, of course, because you're stressed, you think, okay, something is wrong with me, you feel off all the time, semi-depressed, anxious in situations where I wasn't anxious at all before. So then of course, I consulted doctors and I tried to get the blood work, the labs done, and see what's off, right? And I mean, the testosterone range goes from 250, let's say, to 900, right? Nanograms per deciliter. And I was sitting at the first reading when I was 24, 25 was like 600, right? The second one, 2 years later, was at 500, and the one in my early 30s was at 450. But what they all had in common was that it was all bound. So the free testosterone was way too low. It was even below range. And my estrogen was not even detectable. But my total testosterone was in range. So that was reason enough for the doctor to say, hey, obviously your testes don't have an issue. You produce enough LH, FSH, and I see the signaling is okay. But the doctor's awareness, even from the endocrinology, for free testosterone and the symptomatic in a young adult in a young male is like, hey, you don't need it. Yeah, and of course, I was also not the type of person that wanted to straight hop on some hormone, right? So I tried every natural approach that is possible, right? So from zinc to, more cholesterol intake, better sleep, like try to do all these measures to raise my testosterone, or even kind of trying to lower SHBG.
Mm. When you say cholesterol, you meant fats, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fat intake, okay.
Yeah.
So what was the steps that you were taking, and how did you help yourself actually, like to get out of the situation? Just like for people to understand what is the exit at this point.
At this point, what the exit was, for years I tried the natural way, of course, because I didn't want to hop on some replacement therapy. And then the exit was, it started when I started losing hope after almost 10 years of like semi-depressed, anxious, right? And after reading on, I've studied PubMed and WebMD and all that like for years, and searching for what could possibly be off, right? From thyroid to pituitary hormones, hypothalamus, testes, even like adrenal fatigue, like everything that's with adrenals, all the hormone cascades in the body, how they interact. And I was pretty fit at that moment. With my knowledge was like on point. And then I found a doctor that supported me to hop on TRT.
So TRT was a game changer.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it was like, okay, now I'm alive again, right? So the stress is manageable. Now I don't have any anxiety anymore.
So you started optimizing your hormones.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, before we deep inside, actually dive deep inside, neither me, neither you are doctors. No. And this is disclaimer that you are speaking from your personal experience, from your personal research, that everything what is promoted here, or word promoted
not
here,
even promoted.
Yeah,
yes.
Whatever you are saying to people, that's something from your personal experience. And obviously, guys, if you are searching for shortcuts and getting to know about hormone replacement therapy, about prolactin, definitely first thing, a good doctor, and then you can obviously listen to Alex and his story and do your own research. So this is just 100%. Disclaimer from us. Yep. We will start now. Basically, let's speak about gut. What do you think? The gut health, you said there is something very interesting about leaky gut.
Yeah, I try to also like to close the bridges here from the hormonal replacement therapy and how I got there. In the meantime, all these 10 years of excess research and a natural way to trying to boost my testosterone naturally, right? I saw many doctors. I visited many doctors, and this is where I also got introduced to this one. He's a brilliant doctor in Germany. His name is Jens Neidert, and he's also a good friend of mine. In the meantime, because obviously with all the knowledge I gained from my own research, some doctors had a huge sympathy for the conversations we had, and we ended up being like friends afterwards. And he was the one who made me aware about my gut. Because I came to him, I was like burned out, stressed and all that, and I had all the symptoms. And he was like, okay, did you ever think about what you put in your mouth in terms of food and drinks? Yeah. And I was eating healthy, and he was like, yeah, you eat healthy, but what about all the phytotoxins inside vegetables? And what about the gluten? You know, because bodybuilding, right? So it doesn't forbid to eat. Does not forbid to eat bread, for example. Yeah, it's a carbohydrate source, so you can now and then have bread, right? But gluten is a huge thing because it might cause inflammation, even if it's low grade. But it's inflammation, permanent inflammation inside your gut. You don't feel it instantly, but over time, it might damage your gut barrier.
So if you can tell me just one thing before we get to a topic, what is the leaky gut actually? If you can tell people, like, just to understand what is the secret.
Sure. I try to explain it as easy as possible. So you have a barrier where in your gut lining, right? So it's like your gut is like this membrane, and there is inside this barrier there is a layer of it's almost like mucus, and this is where it's a biofilm, and this is where all the bacteria is at, right? The good bacteria that digests food and is responsible for your immune system and all that. So when you have inflammation all the time, this biofilm becomes thinner and thinner and thinner. In addition to that, your gut has something called tight junctions. Tight junctions, they can be open, they can close and open, right? So when you're in an inflamed state, they stay open for too long.
Okay.
And endotoxins, like basically your stool and byproducts of, like, from your digestion, like proteins and toxins, can enter your bloodstream. So they can exit the gut, right? Because the barrier
is broken.
Exactly,
Open,
it's open. Yeah, the tight junctions are open. Your biofilm is way too thin, right? So you have a dysbiosis, and in addition to that, your endotoxins, like parts of your stool or proteins and toxins, can leave the gut and cause low-grade inflammation, but systemic inflammation, like throughout your whole body, which is one of the cause for autoimmune diseases, like one of the major causes, in my opinion. It's something that the school medicine is not so open about. Like they don't even recognize this as a real disease, right? So, but if you have a damaged gut barrier, endotoxins can enter your bloodstream, and then you have systemic low-grade inflammation. And this can cause autoimmune disorders and all sorts of stuff, depressive.
So, for instance, if I assume I have a leaky gut, what can be the first symptom? How to discover that, and what are the things to look at actually?
It's really difficult to nail it to one symptom, because if you can just try to type in symptoms leaky gut, and you will see it's
whole list. Yeah,
it's the list of basically like almost all diseases together mixed in one big long list, right? So you have all sorts of symptoms, right? It can cause from thyroid issues to hormonal issues, because once you have this low-grade inflammation, systemic inflammation, right? It disrupts all sorts of biological processes in your body. So, and also causes your immune system to start have a fight inside your body. Like it turns autoimmune, right? So because it has to fight all these endotoxins, it cannot focus on his actual job. This is where herpes and all of that stuff comes up. Exactly.
Yeah. So Alex, I'll be very practical and ask you, what are the practical steps that actually help you personally improve your gut health?
And that's a good question. Elimination diet, like eliminate almost all foods.
So you start with the fasting, and then you just introduce.
Exactly.
Okay.
So try to eliminate all sources that could be damaging, right? So everything that causes inflammation, and big fast. Then enter a phase of carnivore, where you introduce only red meats and eggs. See how you react, and then slowly, vegetable by vegetable. And then you find sometimes that, oh, this one causes bloating, right? And then you remove it. And this way you figure out what works for you and what does not. Because when you have this leaky gut, when your gut has this the open tight junctions, and your brain, your gut barrier is too thin, you want to rebuild it. So you need fiber, you need glutamine. Glutamine is very, very good for your gut health.
Where you would rate glutamine?
Glutamine.
Where you would rate this for somebody who is like just a gym goer, or like normal person who is trying to improve the health? Where would be the glutamine for you? Is it top tier?
For me, it's top tier and very high dosed for the ones who have gut issues.
So for glutamine,
glutamine, amazing. Yeah, but more important are fibers, like eating enough. Every day I have at least 10 grams of psyllium husk. Every morning, empty stomach, I put my 500 milliliters of water. I add big
Psyllium husk,
yeah, psyllium husk every morning. It's amazing. It cannot cause any damage to nobody. It's like even if you're healthy or not, doesn't matter. Fiber is very, very healthy also for cholesterol levels.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you can.
So we have two steps. We have glutamine. We have psyllium husk. We have actually. Let's go.
Yeah.
Eliminating the food, introducing the food, adding the fibers, right?
Exactly.
And then what is the next step?
Basically, no. That's actually all it takes.
Okay.
To be honest, like you have to just change your routine.
Okay.
Right. First, I think that the big disruptors are sugar and gluten.
Oh, it's processed food, man.
Once you have the processed food out, the sugar and the gluten, once you kick that out, you will be also amazed how fast your physique changes. Like everything.
As well, soda as soda as a drink. It's. I don't want to swear, but it's dangerous to your gut.
100%.
Sure.
100%.
Coffee as well. Yeah, but okay. And, I mean, we can eliminate everything from the life, but obviously there is a balance, right?
Exactly, 100%.
So I'm always for that. Let's stress poor diet, alcohol consumption, ultra processed food. Those are the things that everyone who is looking for long-term health option, actually not options, it's not really good to say options, but somebody who is looking to improve health on a long run, long term, those are the things. And then you can, if you have a problem, if you assume that your problem is linked to gut health, you just said this, and we can take to next point from leaky gut and inflammations. You said chronic viral infections such as Epstein, Barr virus and Lyme bacteria or virus. I didn't know about that, so I had to read prior coming to this podcast. But you said this is very interesting. And then if you can tell to audience and to people who are actually learning, willing to learn something new, what is the Epstein-Barr virus, and if you can tell about Lyme bacteria and virus, because I think it's important, and when you now present that, people understand why.
Mm-hmm. So to talk about the virus, I wouldn't go that far because I'm not a virologist or some, like, this is not, I'm not a specialist in Epstein-Barr virus, but there are like all sorts of bacteria and viruses that live inside our bodies. So like each and every one of us has herpes simplex.
Can I interrupt 100%. For a second and just say that this is the Epstein-Barr virus. It's called a kissing virus. Yeah.
Kissing.
So 95% of the people on a planet Earth, they have had or they might have now, right?
Yeah.
Now. So
you can even have it like as a child. Like it's something you have it once, you get fever, and after it disappears for your whole life. You might never experience any symptoms or something, but in case you have something like leaky gut, right? A chronic, systemic, low-grade inflammation state, which something that affects your immunity, your immune system, right? And your immune system is weak, then it can come up.
Because so if I can share my personal experience, whenever I was underestimating and I would say undersleeping, first thing which happened to me, it was herpes. Always. And I was always blaming, okay, sleep is the trigger for my immunity to go down, and then my immunity gets triggered, I get the herpes. And I was having herpes for men. Every 2-3 weeks I would get like the cold sore. And then I didn't know what's going on. So I was always neglecting sleep, but maybe I was having that issue, and then maybe people can relate to your experience, actually.
Yeah. So in your case, it was not leaky gut or something bad, lucky you. So it's good for you that it was not something serious, but you can see even like having a lot of stress or like stress phases in life or poor sleep can affect your immunity, and this pathogen comes back up, right? And you can even do research, like you can look it up yourself. There is a high probability that the thing called long COVID is actually a reactivation of Epstein-Barr virus. So this is like also one theory that every time you have COVID, right, when you have weak immunity already and you catch COVID, Epstein-Barr gets reactivated, and this is what causes additional issues, right? So then you have to, basically, what's the best help against this is to boost your immune system.
Sleep, proper nutrition.
Yeah, exactly.
Daily, I would say, sun exposure.
Sun exposure, less stress, good supplements, training, healthy food. Don't overtrain, because when you're in a weak state with weak immunity and you overdo the training, it's like exactly.
It just goes against
100%. But what you can do is like vitamin C, for example, stuff like that, stuff that boosts your immunity, boosts your immune system from inside. The stronger your immune system becomes, the more it's able to hide these latent viruses, the persistent viruses that's inside your body, and keep them there, keep them shut, like in this, because every time it's weak, they come back up, like your herpes experience.
Yeah, that was
right?
like my experience,
Exactly.
over and over again.
Exactly.
I just want to mention now the Lyme virus, because I came from a village, and to be honest, I don't know many guys from, I would say, village that didn't have a tick, like, and I didn't know that the Lyme virus is actually connected to having a bite from a tick, and then you said another thing, mosquito, and then you just you get, I would say, a bacteria which can affect your immune system as well, right?
Yeah. And the funny thing is that the Lyme disease is very, very difficult to treat, right? So you have this antibiotics therapy, in very severe cases, obviously you have to go to the doctor, as always, and he might prescribe antibiotics, but it doesn't mean that it's out of your system.
So is there any other way to fight it?
No, you can just boost your immunity to keep it as passive as possible inside your body, right? So because Lyme disease is a very tricky one, it's like it can emulate all sorts of diseases. It can show up like a hypothyroidism. I have this one case where a doctor even told me that there was one pilot. He was in his office, and he had three stroke diagnosis from different doctors, right? Three different stroke diagnoses, and he gave him allicin. It's the active ingredient of garlic. So because it's a very high concentrated garlic, and this garlic is something that fights off Lyme disease very effectively. So when you take high dosed garlic extract pills, right, it's something that works as an antibiotic. So it's actually very good for you.
I remember when I was younger, my grandmother, whenever I get sick, she would put the garlic in front of me, like big one, like 8, like.
Yeah, it's funny.
I was like, and you see how it goes to this kind of. If you see this all vegetables, it come from root. Even if you compare nowadays, biggest test boosters are roots.
Yeah, ginger. I mean, ginger is very healthy as well. Like, roots. Yeah. And there is like your grandmother. I mean, there is something to it. It was not. There is. You can look this up. 100%. Like, garlic has this antibiotic, antimicrobial. How can I say? Antimicro.
I don't know what you think, but try to make it simple.
Antibacteria, antibiotic, like it kills all sorts of viruses and bacteria inside your body. So it's very good. It's also very healthy when you're sick and you take this, and it's also very effective for Lyme disease. Yeah.
Okay.
And this pilot, like he couldn't even move his his body because he had a real stroke diagnosis from different doctors. And after a couple weeks of high concentrated garlic, right, he was able to move his face again and his arm. And so because in severe cases of Lyme disease, you have even numbness, like it can emulate all sorts of sicknesses. And also one good indicator is you have two different values. You have to check this up. Two different vitamin D markers you can check. There is one active and one passive form, right? It's difficult for me to translate it in English, and also in every country it's different, like the specific name of it. But Lyme disease also causes a disruption of this vitamin 3 conversion. So this is another indicator. You can check for both vitamin D3 markers, and if you see that one is high and one is low, there is also something going on. Because vitamin D3 is also very important for your immunity, and Lyme disease blocks this D3 conversion to downregulate your immunity. So it's able to
mingle around, yeah?
Exactly.
Well, I didn't know. Many good things that I learned today, first of all. Yeah. And I'm very thankful. If you don't mind, I would move to hormones and blood work. Because, as I said, I like to say, try something and then speak about it. Yeah. Do the research, go to the doctor, do the blood work, and then try to speak. Hormone replacement therapy and markers to look at prior doing it.
Yeah.
Before, again, I just want to put a disclaimer.
Again, please
that,
do it.
Yeah, we are not you, not me, the doctors. Yeah. And basically, this is all your personal experience. But before we tell about hormone replacement therapy, obviously there are some guys who really need that, especially if you are a male, 40 plus, and tendency for testosterone declination is there.
Yeah, 100%.
But obviously, prior doing that, there are 4 pillars: activity, sleep, nutrition, and obviously sun exposure.
Yeah, 100%.
If you don't have those 4, do not search for hormones.
Yeah.
So, where do most men go wrong when they think their hormones are the problem?
First of all, one thing that's very important, also thanks for the disclaimer, because I'm not a fan of this hype around TRT. It's not something you can hype, not something that's a trend or something funny. It's an actual therapy for people who need it. Like,
so you are the one who were there, right? You needed
it. I needed it, and and it took me also 10 years of trying everything I could to stay away from it, avoid it as much as I can. At the end, okay, it helped me, but it's not something like when I see 25-year-olds. I mean, okay, sure, there are cases, and this is one thing we have to take it more seriously, because there are so many myths around testosterone. It's like this bad thing, right? It's to avoid at all costs. And no, being deficient is far more dangerous, in my opinion, for prolonged periods of time. Deficiency, right, is far more dangerous than replacing testosterone. So if you do it properly, obviously there are secondary issues that come with it, like blood pressure and indirect kidney issues and all sorts of stuff, but they come from estrogen. But testosterone in male bodies is not harmful by default, right? But we have this tendency for many years, because there have been studies talking about prostate cancer and all that stuff, that in most parts of the world, doctors are against it, right? And I think now we come to a point where medical field understands.
I think there is no single research that says that TRT therapy is causing the prostate cancer, because
it was, I think, in the 60s, right? And this is the
sure.
only study everyone recalls. And now there has been this huge study, the US study, over 10 years. I forgot the name of the study.
Do you have any kind of papers where people can go and check it out, just to have some value behind
the name. I need the name of the study. It's very recent.
We'll place the study down below
100%.
in description, so you can have a look and judge by the paper. Yeah.
This is the brand new and the most extensive study that has been performed, and it's pretty recently. And that was the reason why the FDA in America has loosened up all the regulations for testosterone, because it turned out that it's basically it's not bad for your cardiac system, and not bad for your prostate, and all of this is wrong, right?
Especially if you are deficient with
100%.
testosterone, and if you are a guy 40 plus. So I just want to distinguish those two things.
Exactly.
This is not something that the guy 20, 25, even 30 should be jumping, unless there is a problem.
To be honest, me personally, I wouldn't place because see, in my case, it was exactly that. I was 24, right? When I noticed that I lose hair on my arms, right? So that was exactly the reason, because everyone thinks of an age group automatically by default, right? That was true years ago. Now there is a trend that even 30-year-olds are deficient already, because we have microplastics, we have all these disruptors in our life that causes even younger people to have this issue, right? But to be fair, nobody should receive testosterone replacement therapy if he's not deficient.
What blood markers to have a look at prior jumping?
Yeah.
TRT. If you can just explain to somebody who would like to actually check the blood, and then obviously next step.
100%. So just to determine if you are deficient or not, you have to check, of course, LH, FSH, total testosterone, sex hormone binding globulin. I also prefer to take albumin to be even more precise about the level of bounding, and estrogen. And from these, I think you can get a pretty good insight of, okay, what's going on? Is it what type of hypogonadism is it, right? You have type 1, type 2, and there are cases where, for example, there is no signaling at all coming from the hypothalamus or from the pituitary to the testes. And
That was your issue, right?
No, I had enough LH and FSH, but somehow it was all bound. Like I had such high SHBG that my free testosterone was...
I have high SHBG. So what would you tell me?
It depends. If your total testosterone is high enough, then you can handle the high SHBG, because there is enough free testosterone left for your body to operate correctly. And if there is also enough estrogen, it's also an indicator that the conversion through the aromatase enzyme is working correctly, and your HPTA, like the feedback loop, is working properly. High SHBG is not bad by default, but it's bad when it's in combination with low total testosterone values. Then you end up having no free left.
Just to distinguish, this is just now as well for the educational purpose.
Exactly.
Free test and total test are two different things.
100%.
And that's why SHGB is important. And
SHBG, yes.
SHBG, sorry.
Yes.
He's directly binding with total testosterone.
Yes.
And then then by default you have less free testosterone, which is important for a male to look at.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yeah. Everything is important because also the sex hormone binding globulin is it is transporting the testosterone to different tissues. So also that bound part is very important, right? So you need a balance, and it's all a leveling. You have to check the whole picture to be able to assess what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned as well prolactin and thyroid. Why they are often like misunderstood? What is behind? I had high prolactin, and I'll tell you from my experience. I was using Makuna. I was using the P5P.
P5P, yeah. B6 activated form.
Exactly, and I was using DIM.
DIM.
Yeah. So that's something that helped me really lower my prolactin levels. But obviously, I was very stressed. I was overtraining, doing the other things. But obviously, I jumped to shortcut. I fixed myself, but I understood on the long run I'll have to fix my obviously stress, which is training is stress. Overtraining is enormous stress.
100%. Yes, it's
So
a stressor. Yeah.
why do you think these hormones are usually misunderstood, and what they are like?
I think they're not misunderstood. Even thyroid medication is pretty common. I think of hormones. I think it's like a cascade, right? If something is wrong in the system, also other parts of the system tend to break out or show discrepancies, right? So, for example, if your prolactin is very high, your thyroid hormones are usually low. For example, this is like one example, right? So when you end up at some doctor who prescribes you thyroid medication, it could make issue. It couldn't. It's like it doesn't resolve the issue. So now you have the thyroid firing against a system that is not really fixed because your prolactin is still off. Thyroid medication is not going to lower prolactin, right? So now you try to fix something and you made it even worse because now you feel completely
Mess.
Thyroid hormones like boost your metabolism even more. So what happens if your sexual hormones are downregulated, you have high prolactin, and now you give someone thyroid medication? So this is why it's very important to do a whole assessment, get a picture of all the variables, right? And then try to see, okay, what's the issue here? Because it could be a prolactin issue that causes you to have low testosterone. Then you could get around TRT, for example, and don't need it. If you fix it, right? If you fix the underlying issue and cause, right? So I think it's very important for men, keep an eye on prolactin, keep an eye on thyroid, keep an eye on your hormonal status.
Okay, if I can raise the hand and say something, there are always red flags which you can have, which are actually common in day-to-day basis, right? Low energy, no libido, no willpower, no motivation to get out of bed. Many things can be triggered before you actually go and do the things like blood test and et cetera, et cetera. So in this case, if all this is by default, I would say on shelf as we present, as we trying to present here, then definitely the TRT will be something that can help.
100%. I mean, yeah, but it should be TRT should be the last resort. You should try, put the effort, and because to be honest, like to be on TRT, there is a lot of responsibility with it, right? You have to commit to a certain lifestyle. TRT is not something you just take and forget, right? Because now your system is working with exogenous hormones. Now, if you drink alcohol, your body, your liver has to process the alcohol, right? Now your aromatase might come off, right? Now you have higher estrogen. And it's more severe than for a natural guy whose estrogen is regulated through the feedback loop of the HPTA. If you're on exogenous hormones, drinking alcohol, you should avoid that, right? and also like eating healthy,
You
because now
should
your
optimize
cholesterol is
life.
different.
You should optimize your
100%,
life.
yeah,
That's the thing.
Yeah. You can't be obese on TRT.
Yeah. Another topic, and I would like to close with this one because I think it's very important. Dopamine and why guys are being fucking pussies, man.
That's a good way to frame it.
I mean, like, you know, like, come on. We need to man up and we need to stay away from this fake dopamine. Porn, obviously, scrolling, where the world is going, man.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, it's not that transparent. You and I, we might see it, right? But it's a very smart way these things sneaked into our lives, right? Oh, nice. Now you have the smartphone. Oh, it's so helpful. Oh, now I can listen to music. It came slowly and gradually.
And it's taking over.
Exactly. And you don't realize that you have a casino inside your pocket, right? You can pull it out every time and it's so exciting and you can do all sorts of things. And sometimes boredom is also very important for us, right? When you think of our when you go back in evolution, we didn't always have something to do. Sometimes it was boring.
And it's very important to have something boring in your life. I was seeing the guy who is sitting every day 1 hour on a chair, closing his eyes and just breathing.
Yes.
Doing nothing.
Yeah. And if you think our parents, their lifestyle was not so sophisticated than ours nowadays, right? They had more simple lives, more like the work and home, and it was more relaxed. Now we travel and we see things and we read all day and we do podcasts about all sorts of like hormones.
I like to speak about the things which are important, and I think people can get, I believe it will be my biggest win of this podcast if anyone who is watching it right now comes and say, okay, I can take 1-2 things
just
from this
one,
podcast. Like I learned something new, or like I can educate myself toward that because these guys are speaking something what is important for society, you know. That's my biggest win. I'm not here to promote my service, not your service, not to promote. I really want to help environment actually get better.
100%.
This is my biggest.
And with a dopamine, I think we should enjoy the bad parts of things more, right? Working out, like to enjoy the workout, not the outcome, not the body that comes with it. Enjoy the work, enjoy the journey. This is dopamine. This is real dopamine. Enjoy working, not the outcome.
Enjoy helping others. Enjoy like
doing.
Give your energy to something that has value. And then obviously I think distraction is the biggest enemy of success. 100%.
Yes.
And you know, one thing. Imagine that you have a hidden camera in your house, and you know that you have a hidden camera in the house. Would you behave the same when you're on your own? For instance, watching porns, doing the things which are not.
Okay, now I get it.
Which are not
probably not.
Exactly. You see, it means that you are doing this and you are acknowledging the things which you know that ultimately are not good for you.
100%. Same with nutrition. Most people, they know. Like even all this stuff we say here.
What is the answer for that? What is I'm just wondering. What is the answer? How to fix?
It's a
what would be your
to fix what exactly? To fix the dopamine thing, or
dopamine? In general, the watching porn is dopamine addiction, right? To satisfy yourself with the things instantly. Putting nicotine, smoking vapes and cigarettes, again addiction, dopamine to actually satisfy yourself.
As I say, I try to enjoy the uncomfortable part more. What is porn addiction? It's the avoidance and the guts to go and walk up to a nice lady and make her compliment and talk to her, right? And what is hindering you from having a six-pack? It's the actual work you have to put in. So people try to avoid the
Delayed
bad part and
gratification.
get to the instant gratification, right? And porn is an easy way, right? I don't have to get uncomfortable and go out there, and maybe some lady might say no, or okay, but sometimes life, it's not easy. You have to invest, you have to try, you have to be able to also enjoy the bad part, right? And ice bath, what is ice bath, right?
Yeah.
Ice bath is not comfortable. You like it? I don't, but I still do it, right?
Sometimes I even don't like to go and train, but I like the feeling after the training, man. You cannot imagine that.
Yeah. I don't even think about it anymore. For me, it's like
It's just routine,
drinking
right?
water or eating. Yeah. It should be. I don't even put a emotion to that, if it's bad or good, or I just do it because it has to be done.
Yeah.
And also like other things, you have to identify as someone who is not watching porn. You have to identify as someone who's living healthy. Identify as one who is not avoiding to be uncomfortable. And once you identify this way, it will be easy, because then you just do it.
Well, Alex, I would like to thank you for being here today. I learned from you today, and I'm very thankful for your time. Guys, if you really like the talk, and if you get anything away from this podcast, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and obviously ask the questions about the podcast. Alex, my pleasure, man.
Thank you so much.